good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome Shri T.M. Vijay Bhaskar, IAS Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka, for taking his time to be with us for this webinar. Before I dwell on the subject, I would like to briefly introduce the chambers for the benefit of the participants. Sir, the chamber represents 95% of the capital investment and 90% of the corporate labor employed in the state of Karnataka. The Chamber of Commerce started in the year 1976, representing large and medium industries in the state, and we have presently a membership of 800 plus companies representing various sectors of industry such as manufacturing, aerospace, aviation, IT, biotech, pharma, engineering, garments, food processing, steel, etc. Sir, our vision is to become the preferred chamber in the state of Karnataka to facilitate business growth and add value to the stakeholders. Our mission is to act as a bridge between the government and industry and shape the government policies to support ease of doing business, be a single point of contact for government to grasp the issues and recommendations from industries and other stakeholders, become a catalyst for growth and competitiveness through sharing of best practices and know-how within the member community, provide strategic support for all small and medium scale businesses to scale up their operations and remain competitive. We are working very closely, sir, with the government and other stakeholders to achieve the common purpose, which is to accelerate growth of industries in the state and maximize value for all the stakeholders, thereby actively taking forward the Chamber's theme for the year, which is Namma Karnataka, a gateway to the future India. As we are aware that the Indian economy started battling the pandemic from the position of weakness, now it has gained a significant strength. GDP growth has been on the downward drift initially over the last few years and crashed by a hefty 25% minus quarter on quarter, seasonally adjusted rate in the April-June quarter. The first quarter of the financial year, which started in April 2020 as a nationwide lockdown, slammed the brakes of the economy. The gradual easing revived the activity and the GDP bounced back by 21% quarter on quarter in second quarter of 2020. Even then, a minus 15.7 year-on-year contraction in the first half of 2020 was the worst ever and also the steepest in Asia. The pandemic has taught us the overriding importance of staying healthy, both physically and mentally. It is highly critical for the people to act responsibly and support the multifarious efforts of the government and health professionals to break the transmission of the dreaded virus. We simply cannot allow the complacency to set in and lower our guard. With all the difficulties caused from the COVID-19, our state still continues to be the most preferred destination for various investors and has attracted the highest FDI inflow of 10,255 crores, 1.39 billion US dollars in the country in the April-June quarter amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Sir, we are very proud of this achievement and we thank you very much for your leadership. Karnataka continues to be the powerhouse of research and innovation. It's a matter of pride that 15 Karnataka startups won the National Startup Awards in the wide-ranging sectors from the urban mobility to satellite technology, organic farming, and to augmented reality. We are proud to say that Karnataka has received the highest investment among the states in the year, and Karnataka is currently ranked second in terms of FDI investment. Sir, BCIC has been constantly taking up the critical issues of industry in the interest of the state with both the state and the central government. We are very happy to inform that the Chamber's recommendations has been considered very actively by the government for implementing the various measures to address the COVID-19 challenges. The Chamber also organized many webinars during the period on topical issues addressed by the eminent experts from government, industry, and professional. The global economy, I'm sure, will take a couple of years to recoup to the normal business as every nation hit by COVID-19 has been very severely impacted. But I'm sure with the lessons learned and with the strong leadership in our state, definitely we can take the state of Karnataka to the newer heights. Sir, I'm very happy to say that we had a very good interaction with the Honorable Industry and Commerce Minister of India, Shri Piyush Goyal, who gave us a 1 hour hearing and he has appreciated our analysis on Atmanirbhar and also the Karnataka's competitiveness to attract investments and also the second airport for Karnataka. Sir, I would like to highlight some of the new initiatives of the BCIC during the financial year. Sir, we started the sustenance cell and we started closely working with the government in providing inputs to the overall ranking of Karnataka state on ease of doing business. In fact, we have changed the name as Start to Sustenance. And this forum is led none other by Sri Vidya Shankar, a former Additional Chief Secretary, Commerce and Industry. Unfortunately, he's not able to join. He talked to me because he has taken his wife to the hospital, but he conveyed his best wishes to the success of this event. And also, we are setting up the Center of Excellence to foster the human development, to address the Atmanirbhar and Make in India, to enhance the skills and make sure the right manpower is trained in all the important skills for Karnataka. And we also set up a micro, small industries, enterprises, MSME council to understand what are all the pain points of our members and how to address this collectively through a member interaction. We are the first regional chamber in the country to promote aerospace aviation on the Sector Skills Council, jointly with HAL and CRT and the National Skill Development Corporation, Government of India, in the field of aerospace aviation, headquartered in our. We also signed a MOU with the other Sector Skill Council, namely the Capital Goods Sector Skill Council, Tourism and Hospitality Sector Skill Council of National Skill Development Corporation, Government of India, to promote skill development initiative for the benefit of our member companies in the state of Karnataka, and also with Amrita University and Deloitte in the space of startups, R&D, innovation, and disruptive technology. Sir, we are very happy to say that we started the Emerging Star Award for the startup companies who are battling the pandemic. And we got an overwhelming response of nearly 200 companies. And we are very happy to say that we have shortlisted 19 companies and we'll be announcing the winners very shortly. And we got an overwhelming participation, sir. And the participation, the contents were something phenomenal. And we also started the International Business Opportunities Cell, trying to establish an office in Tokyo to promote ease of doing business. We are already talking to some of the partners in Japan, and we are discussing very actively. We believe that a huge opportunity exists for Japanese companies, and they are very happy to come to Karnataka and set up the business. Both the political leadership, under the leadership of Sri Yediyurappa ji, our Honorable Chief Minister, and the bureaucratic leadership, our Secretary, our beloved Sri Mr. Vidya, under your leadership. We are also having series of meetings with the industry minister. We had almost 7 meetings with Honorable Sri Jagadish Shettar during the pandemic, and he was very supportive and he addressed the industry's problems with so much of passion and interest. And he also advised us to open some of the nodal offices in Gulbarga, Bidar, Mysore, Mangalore, and Hubli, Dharwad, and Belgaum. And we are working on priority to open the nodal offices in a phased manner, sir. We have created a leadership forum for C-suite members, which organizes regular panel discussions with thought leaders across various industries and sectors. We have started an outreach membership program to understand the voice of the members through our newsletters, Synergy, Young BCA, Yuva Chakra, MSME, coming with the various reports. Our second edition of Hackathon for the students of VTO has been received very well, sir. We are also trying to bridge the gap between industry and academia by organizing and training the trainers program on disrupt, and we have designed a very thoughtful curriculum in this. We are also instituting the BCA CSR. The aim is to identify and recognize the efforts of the companies in the exemplary work in the area of CSR through sustainable efforts to the community in improving their livelihood and ease of living. Sir, I would like to bring your kind attention on the support of chambers, support the chambers from your good office and Government of Karnataka on the following matters. We request your good office to invite BCAC in all the boards of various departments formed by the governments. This will help us to bring the members closer to the government. We request the government to support our ambitious skill enhancement project by providing financial support to take care of the stipend for all the trainees. We also request the government to invite BCAC as a global investors meet scheduled in the coming year. This will also help us to organize roadshows. BCAC has purchased a new office, sir. We are very happy to say that we have got a brand new address in the MG Road, very next to Kids Camp, the number 1 Mitford and Mitford Street. And this is a beautiful place with 4,500 square feet of corporate office. And we just moved into our office the last week, sir. We also invite you to our new office to talk to the captains of the industry at an appropriate and convenient time. We request your good office to kindly advise us and the concerned department to refund the stamp duty and registration charges for the BCIC. We have also already appealed to the Revenue Minister, Shri Ashok Ji, and also to the Honorable Industry Minister, and they said that they will definitely put it in the cabinet meeting. We also request your good office, because currently we have been struggling a bit because of the lack of revenue, sir, and we also got into the new office. So this will be a great help to us to promote some kind of money flow into the chambers. Sir, you have always been supporting us, and we need your continuous support and guidance to the to take the chambers to the world-class level. I would like to once again take this opportunity, sir, to thank the government of Karnataka, Sri Yediyurappa ji, who has been giving a fantastic leadership and the fantastic bureaucratic leadership under your able guidance, sir. Thank you once again, sir, for making your day and sparing your valuable time to be with us. We look forward to your valuable address. Now I invite Dr. Ravindran, our Vice President, to introduce the chief guests. Thank you very much. Jai Karnataka, Jai Hind.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, President, for this wonderful introduction of our chamber. My name is Ravindran, and I'm the Vice President of the chamber. It is indeed a pleasure and proud privilege to have our Chief Secretary, Shri T.M. Vijay Bhaskar, IAS, to join us on a momentous day, December 5th, 2020. And incidentally, this also happens to be a day of Bandh, that's the way I understand. I'm sure he would be under a lot of pressure on various other matters, but still he has consented to be part of us, is something we are thankful to him for. Before I begin welcoming the Chief Secretary, let me tell you the agenda for the day. We would have the Chief Secretary's address followed by my introduction of the Chief Secretary. Then there will be an interaction between our members and the Chief Secretary for about 10 minutes. This in turn shall be followed by handing over the memento virtually. And after that would be a vote of thanks, and then we would conclude the session with the national anthem. So now let me begin by introducing our Chief Secretary, Shri T.M. Vijay Bhaskar. For all of us who are undergoing the pandemic, I think the credit for a wonderful management at the state level, amongst all the other state governments, credit goes to the Chief Secretary, Shri T.M. Vijay Bhaskar. Thank you very much, sir. I understand that it is his far-sightedness, meticulous planning, and implementation that has helped the state handle the COVID-19 pandemic better than most others. He has been at the forefront of handling this crisis in the state. And what I understand is that Karnataka was the first state to impose its own lockdown on 22nd March and began to tackle the virus much beforehand. And the preparation was really very good enough. The Chief Secretary coordinated with several authorities, including the Central Police Forces, the Indian Air Force, and all the state governments and the departments to earmark quarantine facilities. We are thankful to you for that, sir. Now, going on to introduce the Chief Secretary further, he's from the 1983 batch of the Indian Administrative Services officers of the Karnataka cadre. He's now presently the Additional Chief Secretary, responsible for coordination and overseeing various departments of the state government. During his 34 years of service, our Chief Secretary has worked in various capacities in education, administration, and rural development at the national and state levels in district administration and coordination. His prominent postings, to be very specific, includes being the BBMP Administrator, BWSSB Chairman, Additional Chief Secretary to Government, Department of Public Administration Reforms, Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, Agriculture, Horticulture and Cooperation. He holds a master's degree in economics from the BITS Pilani and is an MBA in public sector from the University of Birmingham, UK. Without taking much time, I hand it over to you, sir. Please take it over. You have about 20 to 30 minutes to talk, and then I really request you to kindly spare 10 minutes for a members' interaction, and we'll be very grateful to you for that. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ravindran. Thank you, Mr. Mr. T.R. Parshuraman, T.R. Shekhar, Mr. Ravindran, dear members of the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. I thank you for inviting me to address you. I am happy to interact with you and update you on the recent policy interventions taken by our state. We are all aware, as you have mentioned, about the COVID-19 pandemic that has hit the country and the economy and the people. This challenge has pushed us into finding new ways to address the problems faced. As you are aware, the state government under the leadership of the Chief Minister has ensured that Karnataka, as you said, is one of the first states to impose its own lockdown. And also, I would like to remind you that we were one of the first states to lift the lockdown and to relax the lockdown and specifically to enable functioning of industry even in April and May by giving special exemptions, passes, provision of passes, etc. And these months of COVID, of course, has further strengthened our resolve to make ease of doing business better. We have taken a number of measures to enhance investor friendliness of the state. As you have mentioned, the state has secured among the highest FDI among all Indian states in this year. You may also be aware that we have recently announced the new industrial policy for the period 2020 to 2025. With this policy, our mission is to make Karnataka a global manufacturing hub and to achieve higher and sustainable industrial growth through capital infusion, technology transfer, world-class industrial infrastructure, skill upgradation, and benchmarking ourselves with the best global standards. The policy aims to boost productivity, create good jobs, and increasing the purchasing power of the people throughout our state with investment in infrastructure, skills, and innovative technologies. The policy emphasizes on advanced manufacturing, research and development, and innovation, and builds up on Karnataka's leadership position in the field of innovation, where we are number one among all states in the country. The policy aims to boost large-scale as well as MSME industries by introducing various incentives across the sectors. We aim to provide infrastructure and credit access, skill development training, and necessary technical support for industries all over the state. For the first time in India, Karnataka has adopted a turnover-based incentive system to ensure balanced industrial development of the state. For example, we are offering an investment promotion subsidy of up to 2.25% of the annual turnover for 6 to 10 years. Companies can avail this subsidy up to 40 to 60% of the value of their fixed assets. We have also taken measures to make it easier to procure land directly from farmers. Earlier, there were many concerns raised that compared to neighboring states, there are many restrictions for purchasing land directly from farmers in Karnataka, and these have been considerably eased or in some cases removed. We have also been at the forefront in introducing labor reforms while ensuring equal fair treatment for both employers and employees. For example, we have increased the overtime limit of workers from 75 hours a quarter to 125 hours a quarter. We have introduced a provision to avail fixed term employment to optimize labor capacity to cater to seasonality. Women are not allowed to work in night shifts between 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. with adequate safety. They are now allowed to work in night shift between 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. with adequate safety measures being taken by the employer. Earlier they were not allowed to work. Now we have allowed them to work. Moreover, to enhance our labor skilling, we are planning to provide subsidies to investors to enhance skill levels further across the state, and especially in the less developed regions. You can also partner with industrial training institutes to tailor the curriculum as per your requirement. Coming to ease of doing business, this is very important. We have ensured that any approved project can approved meaning approved by the single window agency, either the district level committee or the state level committee or the state high level committee. Any project approved by these committees can start the very next day without waiting for any downstream approvals by making suitable amendments to the Karnataka Industrial Facilitation Act. With this amendment, investors are not required to run around different offices to obtain approvals and clearances for a period of 3 years or till they commence commercial production. All of this has been done to ensure more and more investments in the state, and particularly in the tier 2 cities like Mysuru, Mangaluru, Hubli Dharwad, Belagavi, etc. We are actively working on industrial corridors. As you have mentioned, Tumkur, which is just 70 kilometers away from Bengaluru, is going to be one of the largest industrial townships in the entire country with 10,000 acres of planned area. And part of this is also has the Japanese industrial township of more than 500 acres, and there is also a machine tool park of nearly 500 acres in the same industrial township. We would like to strengthen our relationship further with the renowned BCIC members. We assure you of the full support of Government of Karnataka for your investment plans. Let us know in what manner we can assist you in your future endeavors. As you have mentioned, I will request the Industries and Commerce Department to invite BCIC to all its meetings and also to invite BCIC as a member for the Global Investors Meet. You have also referred to skill development initiatives that you are taking. Our skill development department will be more than happy to work with you in this regard. Our officers will handhold you to make your future journey more comfortable. Thank you, and I look forward to any questions that you may have in this regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you really for your big support. We look forward to, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Secretary, sir. It has been really a very heartening development to listen to you and inviting us to various forums. We'll try to do our best and ensure that we support the government to the fullest and the mightiest form. I now request Mr. K.R. Shekhar, Senior Vice President of the Chamber and also the partner of Deloitte Haskins and Sells, to moderate the session with the members. Over to you, Mr. Shekhar.
Chief Secretary meeting. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Ravindran. Thank you, Parasuram. Thanks a lot, Mr. Chief Secretary, sir, for sparing your valuable time and giving a perspective. It's great to hear about the progress and the industrial progress proposed by the government, particularly at 10,000 acres, the largest industrial township at Tumkuru with 500 acres of machine tools. And one of the important objectives of BCIC, as Mr. Parasuraman mentioned, is that Namam Karnataka gateway to the India. That's what our vision for the next 3 years. And as you all know, that Karnataka is sorry, mother of all the industries in technology side, but we always believe, though we are very strong in technology, other industries also needs to grow. And Bangalore and Karnataka is very significant for machine tool industry. In that way, it's great to hear about your proposed vision of 10,000 acre in Tumkur with 500 acre for Japanese investment, more on machine tool industry. It's a great to hear, sir. And we are also happy, extremely happy to note that a proposal to invite BCSC for all the industry ministers and the meetings. And we are at the, in fact, as Parshuraman said, BCSC was at forefront when during the COVID situation, interacting with the government, Mr. Jagdish Shettar, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, and various other officials. And we gave a lot of suggestions, including, I am proud to say on behalf of BCSC that the entire CSR notification for COVID was a lot of things we drafted and we sent it to the government as how we should come. And we still remember the discussions that we had with the Karnataka government of Karnataka on that side. So we are extremely happy about it. And I just wanted to, before I open the audience, to open the audience to everybody, I just have only one point which I wanted to check with you, sir, and then probably I would like to hear from the members. The point which I want to seek your guidance and the input, sir. There is a talk, and there's also happening that there are a lot of investments is moving out of China to various countries. Vietnam is one of the important country, and and the service sector is moving to Philippines. The manufacturing sector is moving to Vietnam and other countries. And Indian government
ಸರ್
is
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
taking
ಸರ್.
steps along with Karnataka government to attract the
ಬ್ಯುಸಿ
investment.
ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಸಾರಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
What is the role? What is the role
ಓಕೆನಾ?
that you expect
ಹಾ,
BCIC to do
ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಐ
this?
ಥಾಟ್,
May I request somebody
ಹಾ
to put the
ಹಾ
phone on mute, please? I just want to check with you, sir. What is the role that do you expect BCAC to play in bringing that sort of investments into Karnataka? We just wanted to take your guidance and inputs, and definitely we'll be happy to support the government of Karnataka on that side, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shekhar. As you have said, there are a number of countries are now looking to move their manufacturing, part of their manufacturing, out of Karnataka as a de-risking strategy. And in this, India is, especially Karnataka, we want to position ourselves as the go-to destination for them. With this respect, we have hosted a number of companies from Taiwan and other countries in Bengaluru to offer them the facilities in Karnataka and in Bengaluru. Recently, you may have read in the papers that Taiwanese company Pegatron, which is one of the manufacturers of iPhones, they had also sent a high-level team to Bengaluru, and they are also looking at Bengaluru, Karnataka as a possible destination. As far as BCICI is concerned, I would request you that you could certainly tie up, have webinars with your counterparts in these countries, in Taiwan, in Japan, in Southeast Asian countries, who would like, and in European countries, so that those countries, their chambers of commerce, if they hear directly from you about the industry-friendly initiatives and the attitude of the state government, they would be more willing to come to Karnataka and set up their industries here. So this is what I would request you to do.
Definitely, sir. Sir, we are working on that, sir. We are also planning to open offices in Tokyo, US, and Singapore the next 1 year. Definitely will take it, sir. I think there are a lot of people have raised their hand. Probably first I will go to Mr. BC Prabhakar. Prabhakar, what's your question, Prabhakar? Can you keep the question brief, Mr. Prabhakar?
So thank you, Shekhar. So thank you, sir, for addressing us. In fact, you have spoken about uh, land reforms concession to I'll wait until.
Yeah. So we'll just take we'll just take 3 or questions. We will not trouble you. We know your business. We'll just take 3 questions, sir. Prabhakar, please go ahead. Prabhakar, keep the question in brief if you don't mind. Sorry about
Mr. Prabhakar,
Basic committee. I thank you for well-informed and good informative address, especially pertaining to industry labor law reforms. That is welcome. But only one thing is needed is Chapter 5B, 100 to 300. It was introduced, but it could not be passed. And now a lot of industries, as Mr. Shekhar submitted, from China, they are trying to relocate, and number of industries, as I know, I am advising number of MNCs. They want to start in Karnataka, but they are waiting for this under to Chapter 5B amendment. Although central government has done it, it will come up in the month of April only. Before that, they have to take a decision and do it. They are waiting for that. I request you to push through this amendment. And secondly, this strong handling of strike which is prohibited in Toyota is also necessary, sir. These are my 2 suggestions, sir.
Regarding, if I can respond to this question,
Yes,
I would like to say that this amendment which was there moved could not be passed by the Legislative Council in the previous session. The legislature is again being convened on Monday, starting Monday, day after tomorrow, and will be in session for about 10 days up to the 15th. And we hope that this bill may be passed in this session. We will hope for the best. And regarding the strike, etc., which is going on, you are aware that Karnataka is a very labor relations are very good. However, one or two cases are there which we are handling with full empathy and for both the management as well as the laborers, the workers.
Thank you for the good response. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ravindra, cross side.
Mr.
Jabu, can you go to
Prabhakar
the next
is
question? Jabu, can you go to the next question?
Cross side.
Yes, yes, Namaskara, sir. I think your address was very nicely connected. So just wanted to get down to a couple of points which we've been telling. Talking from the BCIC platform for a very long time. 2016-17, we had a proposal on the BBBB business beyond Bangalore. I think moving towards Tumkur is very welcome because Chitradurga and other areas will start developing, and Bangalore is becoming like a southern like an NCR is becoming a southern central area where most of the other states are getting benefits. But I think now going upwards, our GDP as a state will develop majorly. Sir, but ಈಗ ನಾವು ಆತ್ಮನಿರ್ಭರ್ ಭಾರತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು if you see the states, there are many states, and particularly 4-5 states which are up there in connecting to the skill gap and the knowledge gap, and bringing in, let's say, a Chinese company or a Japanese company or something to India. Bangalore and Karnataka is probably the closest to grabbing these investment potential. So I think if BCIC can play a role as a facilitator, we have already 16 or 14 different committees. These committees can propose to take our policy, maybe as a special policy, you can give special benefits to attract these companies to bring in more investments. Because I think as we speak, 100 companies were interested in India. I think only 3 have really taken shape into the next level. So I think his idea is that it's a great idea. We want to bring them, but I think the kind of facilitating organizations and then bringing them into roping them and closing the requirement, which can be a much bigger thing. So I think we have captains of industry in our own committees and other things. So this is one, sir. The second one is the coronavirus. today, I think we all very know the kind of focus is happening on how the facilities can happen. This is going to be a huge challenge, sir, because the logistics to maintain minus 70 degrees on a continuous basis. We are in healthcare, so I'm talking about this. So you need to have an excellent setup of logistics as well as healthcare close to each other. Otherwise, you cannot go to different hospitals and get these treatments in the long run. I'm talking because unless you have a very high-end cold storage facilities, minus 70 degrees, it is not that simple to have minus 70. If it drops to minus 50, the virus, the immunity, the power goes down. So, although this is something that we can utilize, being in the center part of southern India, where a lot of transactions will happen around, we can create this into a logistic park, and it's a huge opportunity, sir.
So I would like to respond to this.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
You have also mentioned that because regarding bringing in outsiders, the outside companies, we are skilling is a focus area, and we have been very successful. You may know that Wistron, which is one of the manufacturers of iPhone, they have set up a plant in Narsapura in near Bengaluru on the Kolar highway, and we could provide nearly 6,000 trained technical workers to them on a very fast, quick uh, basis. So we have the capacity to ramp up and provide this necessary skilled labor personnel. We have tied up with different multinational companies like Dassault Systems, Siemens, etc. They provide, and Tata Trust, to provide very high-end training in our industrial training institutes, which will enable the students there to work with computerized machines and to prepare them for more robotic manufacture, etc. So this is a part of our skill development initiatives, and we, of course, as I said, our Department of Skill Development will be happy to work with BCICI if they have not already doing so, to improve collaboration in this area. Regarding vaccines, you may be aware that in India, the Honorable Prime Minister, he addressed all the Honorable Chief Ministers of all the states about a week ago, and there have been a series of meetings, those virtual meetings, for preparing the the necessary staff and infrastructure for delivery of vaccines and for giving the vaccines to the targeted population. The necessary cold storage facilities. So you have mentioned that about 70 to minus 70 degrees centigrade cold storage facility. But the cold storages that are the vaccines that are currently being prepared for are the vaccines that can be kept in freezers or in fridges, which are presently available in the state. So we are not thinking in terms of preparing for this minus 70 degree centigrade requirement. A number of vaccines which are already there, for instance, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, then the Bharat Biotech vaccines. These are all designed, I think, to be kept at temperatures which are presently being managed in our cold storage system. More than nearly 25,000 vaccine delivery points will be there, and the teams also, we have more than 10,000 teams of vaccinators who have been trained, who are already giving different vaccines. So I would like to assure you that the entire logistics has already been identified. It is ready to a large, 90% of it is ready. There are a few gaps, about 5 to 10%, which are being filled up. All the vaccinators, they have already been identified, and also they have been given training and the necessary, the first level frontline, the health personnel who are to be given the first doses of vaccine, they have also been identified, their names, etc. have been identified. Software systems on a mobile, they have been kept ready so that mobile apps for this purpose have been developed and also be kept ready. I can assure you that all the government of India, the state government are taking all, they are making all preparations for delivery of vaccines and for the vaccination in the few coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Sir, probably we'll ask only two more questions.
Mr. Krasta,
One from Mr. Krasta and one from Mr. Amadali, both are former presidents. So, Krasta, can you just ask your question?
Yes, sir. Sir, Krasta here, co-chairman, MSME Council of BCIC.
Yes.
Sir, as you know that the central government has announced to say at least minimum 3 stimulus package for MSME, whereas state government has not announced a single stimulus package for MSME. So my suggestion to you, sir, every year every MSME has to renew their working capital and they have to pay stamp duty on that. So the stamp duty at least can be waived off, so that when there is a hypothecation or even there is a working capital renewal, stamp duty can go on, and that there's a loss of revenue is very meager, sir. MSMEs get the benefit out of that. So my second point is on the property tax. So the property tax, you know that industry should go beyond the BBMP limit. That means they comes under the panchayat level. So the panchayat level and the industries come, they know that is a milking cow. So the harassment that takes place in the industry by these panchayat gundas, sir, sorry to tell you that they are harassing like anything for the property tax. So what we have suggested to the government is the zone wise, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, so make a standard policy of payment of property tax. We're not saying that to avoid property tax. The property tax can be standardized so that the standard procedure can be done. Because now the property tax, there is only commercial and domestic. There is no separate property tax for industries. So industries can be made as a property tax immediately, and a separate policy could be made in the entire Karnataka. So my third point is about the township. So you know that Siddaramaiah government has announced 8 townships, Pune, Whitefield, Hubli, Dharwad, Mangalore, and all. 8 township announced. It's almost 3 years. So the urban department is not allowing to formation of township because they feel that they lose the revenue. Sorry, sir, they don't lose the revenue, because out of the township formation, if the any property collection of property tax, the 30% goes to the local township, a local municipality or even local area. So they don't lose the revenue. Whereas there will be a streamlining of the property tax so that the industrial estate, sir, take any industrial estate in Karnataka, it becomes slum, because there is no garbage clearance, there is no road maintenance, there is no street light. So entirely become, slum. And even the KADB, when they develop the industrial estate, then they don't provide UGD. So where the water will go? So that's the reason why industries in Pune alone, you take it. When you dig the water, you get the cadmium and the these are the things that require my 3 points. Sir. Your guidance, that you can do it. So definitely, sir, see that you give the stimulus package for MSME, and 8.5 lakhs of MSME get the benefit out of this. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Regarding these points, we have for MSMEs, the state government has, I think, announced some deferment of electricity dues for that period. Because you are aware that state governments, financial, the resources and its capacity is much more limited compared to the government of India, and within its the financial constraints, state government has tried to do its best. The stamp duty on mortgages, etc. If you can give a letter, certainly I will get it examined. Regarding property tax, this issue had been raised earlier that there was a discretionary element in the RDPR Act, and therefore the panchayats they were uh, they were misusing some of the panchayats. There was some sort of harassment of the industries. So therefore, RDPR has issued orders giving a specific percentage. As you may be aware, property tax for the panchayats is a percentage of the guidance value. And for separate rates have been announced for MSMEs and large scale industries. So for MSMEs, a lower property tax has been fixed by the RDPR as a guideline for the panchayats. So this will remove the discretionary element which was leading to harassment of industries. Townships, industrial townships is one other issue that you have raised. Of course, this is for instance, Peenya is one area. It may not be feasible to make Peenya as an industrial township because it is inside the city. If there's some area is there which is outside the city, so earlier Elsita has been made a township, industrial township. If Tumkur, the township which has been the industrial park which is developed there, that could be feasibly thought of as a township. But I do not know whether if industrial area is within a part of a city or part of a growing town, so far this could be it could be feasible. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Is
you,
there
sir.
any further?
Thanks a lot, sir. Mr. Ahmad Ali? There's only one
Good
person, sir.
afternoon,
Mr.
sir.
Ahmad Ali, then we'll close the session. Mr. Ahmad.
My name is Ahmad Ali. I am a past president of BCIC. Thank you for a very encouraging session. We are delighted and we all want to make Bangalore and Karnataka the destination. However, I think we need to focus on our infrastructure. I'm mainly talking about the roads in the CBD district itself being all dug up very indiscriminately and all debris left on the roads and things like this. Messy business. Okay, we need to progress. We need to have tender sure roads, but they can be managed. Even if I were to advise them, I could advise them how to do it. You don't need to be an expert. I think as a chief secretary, you must give them directives to make sure these constructions are carried out discriminately, yeah, in a proper way, in a planned way. It doesn't take fantastic brains. You do not have rocket science to do these things. I don't know why these contractors are given such liberties to do such dirty work. So I appeal to you, sir, to make Bangalore a destination. When people come here, they should see the capital of Karnataka as a place. Yes, I want to be there. We are blessed with lovely weather. We are blessed with so many wonderful things that we have. But this infrastructure, a transformer being replaced, the entire place is shut, no power for 3-4 hours, 5-6 hours. Anywhere else, it does not happen. So I think these are some of the things that the government should direct these agencies like BBMP, KEB and things like this to take care of. So that's my submission, sir.
Certainly is a very valid point you have made, and I think Honorable Chief Minister also is very concerned about this, and I have also reviewed this and given instruction. One thing is that this is there has been inordinate delay in some of these works, and that is some timelines have been given, and wherever the contractors have not adhered to safety for barricading, safety instructions, etc., they have been instructed that this action should be taken and this should be followed. But I can agree that this is not being followed in many places. There are many issues. For instance, day before yesterday, I found that electricity lights, street lights had been cut because of tender sure work. Immediately, I instructed that temporary street lighting provision should be made in all the tender sure roads. So these are issues. Of course, we will certainly take your concern into
Sir,
account.
we are willing to offer you help to report to you how things are being done and why contractors, we keep on fighting with these contractors, but they just do not listen to us. So I think if we appoint some volunteers to help you out, we are more than happy to do that as well. All right, sir. Thank you very much for the time and thank you for the
Sir.
answer.
Thanks a lot.
I think can we?
I think
Thank you so
Shekhar,
much for your time. Back
So, Mr.
back
Shekhar, I
to
think we
you.
can we close now? I think we have had.
Yes,
We
sir,
can
we have to
close.
thank
Back
you
to
very much,
Ravindran.
sir,
Back to you.
for your valuable time and valuable inputs on the state leadership and initiatives. And we are very delighted, sir, and for your very, very positive meeting. And I'm sure that we will continue to do our best. Bangalore Chambers would love to work hand in hand with the government of Karnataka. And sir, we're also thankful to the industry department, Sri Gaurav Gupta, Madam Gunjan Krishna. They have been fully supporting along with the industry minister. And definitely we will work hand in hand, sir. And as our last request, since the stamp duty exemption, we have already talked to the industry minister and the revenue minister, and they are very supportive. We also need your good office because the chambers like us, we have been working very hard to promote the state of Karnataka. And this kind of a small help will take us to greater heights and support better, sir. And in fact, we request you to take it up favorably, sir. Thank you very much for
Thank you
your
very much.
valuable time today. Thanks, members. Thank you very much.
Ravindran, back to you for you. Only 1 minute, so just national anthem and small.
Sir, he has logged off.
Anyway, we'll have the national anthem, please.
Yeah. And apologies to Mr. Ramesh and Dr. Periyasamy, we couldn't take the questions due to the shortage of time of the Chief Secretary. We'll now have the vote of thanks. Before that, I think the national anthem straight away. I think vote of thanks is already done by the President. Thank you very much. So we'll stand for the national anthem, whoever can.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for joining today. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Ravindran ji. Hello.
Yes.
Just a small suggestion.
Sir.
Maybe post this call today, maybe the open questions which other members wanted to ask can be consolidated and given
Sure,
to
sure.
Chief
We'll do
Secretary's
that,
office, probably. Okay.
We'll do that, sir. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank
We'll
you.
do it.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
do it.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Thanks.
Bye.